Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a journey into Kenya. It's a place that really sparks the imagination.
It definitely does.
We're using Exploring Kenya with FlightNHotels.com as our guide. And, well, the mission today is to pull out the most interesting, most vital info for anyone wanting to get a good grasp of Kenya fast.
Exactly. We're going beyond just the surface level.
Right. That was a proper deep dive.
And Kenya, it's just so much more than just wildlife, although that's huge.
Yeah.
Our source really highlights the sheer variety. You've got landscapes, culture, beaches. Yeah. It's incredibly diverse.
Yeah, you think Kenya, you often immediately jump to safari, which is fair enough, and we'll definitely get into that.
Oh, for sure.
But it seems like there's this whole range of things to do. Adventure, nature, history, just chilling out.
It really caters to a lot of different travel styles. And FlightNHotels.com comes in as a practical tool for, piecing that trip together.
Okay, so let's start with the big question. Why Kenya? What's the core appeal?
Well, historically, it's massive in travel terms. It's often called the birthplace of the African safari. So for wildlife lovers, it's sort of a must-see destination.
Right, the original safari experience.
Exactly. But then there's the geography. It's just stunningly varied. You can go from wide-open savannas like you picture to lakes, mountains, and then this beautiful Indian Ocean coastline. It's quite the range.
And it's not just landscapes. The guide mentions the culture, too.
Oh, definitely. It points out there are 42 distinct tribal groups in Kenya.
42. Wow.
Yeah, each with its own traditions, languages.
Yeah.
It adds this whole other layer, a really rich cultural dimension beyond the scenery and animals. A chance to connect,
Absolutely. Okay, let's dive into some specific places mentioned. First up, the Maasai Mara. Probably the most famous name.
It's iconic for a reason. The scale of wildlife is just immense. And it hosts perhaps the most famous natural event, the Great Wildebeest Migration.
That's the big one, right? Millions of animals moving.
Millions, yeah. Usually July through October. Wildebeest, zebras. It's an unbelievable spectacle of, survival. Plus, it's arguably your best shot at seeing the big five.
Lions, leopards, elephants, buffalo, rhinos, the classic safari checklist for many.
Precisely.
Then the guide talks about Amboseli National Park. Different vibe, I gather.
Very different, but equally breathtaking. Amboseli's signature is the view. You've got Mount Kilimanjaro just dominating the horizon.
Ah, the snow-capped peak. Incredible photos.
Exactly, those postcard shots. And it's famous for huge herds of elephants, often right there with Kili in the background, plus lots of bird life. The landscape itself, dry plains, swamps, acacia trees, it's very photogenic.
So Mara for the migration scale, Amboseli for those epic Kili views and elephants. Okay, what about Lake Nakuru?
Lake Nakuru offers something else again. It's often famous for the flamingos, sometimes thousands, even millions, creating this pink edge along the lake.
Wow, just seas of pink.
It can be, yeah. It's also a really important sanctuary for rhinos, both black and white, which are endangered. So it plays a big conservation role. And, as the source says, it's a paradise for bird watchers in general. It's a UNESCO site too.
Each park really seems to have its own unique draw. Next, Nairobi National Park. This one sounds unusual.
It really is unique because it's literally right next to Nairobi, the capital city.
So you can see giraffes with skyscrapers behind them.
Pretty much. It's quite surreal. Giraffes, zebras, rhinos sometimes, with the city skyline in the distance. It makes a safari incredibly accessible even if you only have a short amount of time in the city.
A quick safari fix with an urban twist. Interesting. Now, for something more physically demanding, the guide points to Mount Kenya.
Yeah. Africa's second highest peak, another UNESCO site. This is for the hikers, the climbers. It's a totally different adventure.
What's the climb like?
You ascend through these amazing different ecological zones, lush forests lower down, then moorlands, and you even get up to glacial valleys near the peaks. The biodiversity changes as you go up. It's fascinating for nature lovers and definitely a challenge.
Sounds intense, but rewarding. Okay, let's switch completely to the coast, Diani Beach.
Ah, Diani. Yeah, that's your classic tropical paradise scene. White sand, clear turquoise water, palm trees.
The relaxation spot.
Totally. Perfect for unwinding after a safari or just as a beach holiday destination. Lots of water sports available too. And nearby, the guide mentions the Kizite Mpungudi Marine National Park.
What's there?
Great snorkeling and a really good chance to see dolphins. Adds another dimension to the coastal trip.
From mountains to beaches, the variety is definitely there. Now, for culture and history, Lamu Island gets a mention.
Lamu is fascinating. It feels like stepping back in time. It's a UNESCO-listed Swahili town, very old architecture, traditional dhow boats still sailing.
Dhows, those wooden sailing boats.
Exactly. Narrow, winding streets, no cars, really. It's very atmospheric. A much slower pace of life really lets you soak in the Swahili culture and history.
A real escape, then. The guide also talks about Hell's Gate National Park. Sounds dramatic.
It is, visually, known for its dramatic cliffs, gorges, geothermal activity. It looks quite stark and powerful.
What makes it special for visitors?
The cool thing about Hell's Gate is you can actually walk or cycle through parts of it.
Really? Among the animals?
Yeah, alongside zebras, giraffes, antelopes. It's a much more immersive way to experience the landscape and wildlife than just from a vehicle. Very unique.
Cycling safari, interesting. Then there's Tsavo, East and West. Huge parks, right?
Yeah, Tsavo is one of Kenya's oldest and largest. It feels more remote, wilder perhaps.
What's it known for?
Famous for its red elephants. They get coated in the red dust of the soil. Also, you see things like old lava flows, rugged terrain. It offers a more kind of off-the-grid safari feel for people wanting solitude.
Good for escaping the crowds.
Yeah.
Lastly, the Great Rift Valley itself is highlighted.
Which is just this massive geological feature, a huge split in the earth running through the country. It creates these stunning landscapes.
What kind of things can you see or do there?
Well, it's dotted with lakes, hot springs, volcanoes. The guide mentions places like Lake Naivasha and Lake Baringo specifically. Great spots for birdwatching, boating, ecotourism. A different angle on Kenya's nature.
So an incredible range of places. Now, logistics. How do you actually get to Kenya and get around once you're there?
Okay, so arriving, the main entry points are the international airports in Nairobi. That's Jomo Kenyatta, NBO, and Mombasa, which is Moi International, MBA.
And lots of airlines fly there.
Yeah, the source notes, plenty of major international airlines have daily flights, so it's pretty well connected globally.
Right, and once you land, how do you travel between, say, the Mara and the coast?
You got options. Domestic flights are common and efficient for longer distances. There are car rentals, buses, even some train services.
What does the guide recommend for flexibility?
For ease and covering those diverse areas, it suggests looking at domestic flights or renting a car. And it points out you can often arrange these through platforms like FlightNHotels.com.
Okay, so let's talk about FlightNHotels.com. It's mentioned as this all-in-one booking platform. What's the main advantage for planning a Kenya trip?
I think the biggest thing is convenience. You can compare flights from wherever you are, straight to Nairobi or Mombasa. Then you can look for hotels, everything from fancy safari lodges to beach resorts, and even sort out car rentals for different budgets and needs, all in one spot.
So it simplifies things. Instead of juggling multiple websites.
Exactly. Comparing flight prices, finding hotels in the specific areas you want to visit, getting a car suitable for maybe some rougher roads. It streamlines that whole planning phase.
The guide also mentions secure booking and customer support, which is probably reassuring when you're booking a big trip overseas.
Yeah, definitely. Having that backup and a secure way to handle bookings takes some stress out of it, letting you focus more on the actual trip,
Makes sense. Okay, timing is always key. When's the best time to actually go to Kenya?
Well, our source breaks it down nicely. January to March is generally great for wildlife viewing, and the weather's usually warm and dry.
Okay.
But if the Great Migration is your top priority, you'll want to aim for July to October. That's when it's typically happening in the Mara, and the weather is cooler and dry then too.
And what about the coast?
The December holiday period is mentioned as a popular time for combining the coast with the safari. It's generally sunny and pleasant then.
So it depends a bit on your priorities, migration, weather, beach time. Good to know. And finally, any essential travel tips we should pull from the guide?
Yeah, a few practical points. Visas, many people can apply online for an e-visa, which is convenient.
Okay, good.
Health-wise, a yellow fever vaccination is recommended, so definitely best to check with your doctor well before you travel.
Right, always consult a doctor.
Currency is the Kenyan shilling, KES. Credit cards are pretty widely accepted in cities and tourist spots, but the guide advises carrying some cash, especially for smaller purchases or in more rural areas.
Good tip. Language.
English and Swahili are the official languages, so English is widely spoken, particularly in tourism, which makes things easier for many visitors.
And safety.
Generally considered safe, especially in the main tourist areas, but, like anywhere, take standard precautions, be aware of your surroundings, common sense, travel safety.
All sounds very helpful. So wrapping up this deep dive, Kenya clearly offers this incredible mix. Amazing wildlife, yes, but also stunning landscapes, beaches, deep culture.
It really does seem to have that potential for genuinely unforgettable memories, whatever you're looking for in a trip.
And as the source implies, with so much variety, a bit of planning definitely goes a long way to making the most of it.
Absolutely. Tailoring it to what you want to see and do is key.
Which is where resources like FlightNHotels.com can really help out making the planning, the booking of flights, hotels, cars, smoother and maybe more affordable. You can check them out at www.FlightNHotels.com.
Definitely worth exploring. And maybe, as a final thought, consider how experiencing Kenya's, vastly different ecosystems and its rich tapestry of cultures might actually shift your perspective. What kind of unexpected aha moments, what deeper understanding might be waiting for you there beyond just the usual tourist trail?